Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bengal Tiger Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune. Joining me once again is Shea Dixon. Shea, how you doing on this Friday afternoon? Get back from the vet. You doing all right?
All is well with the pups. They're chilling. Just a little allergy season. I thought maybe a little kennel cough was going around, but no, it's just allergy season. So we're good there.
Good.
I actually was wearing a. Uh, Actually, I could probably make this a two-part funny story. I have a USA just generic, like
Mm-hmm.
like the Olympic logo maybe, but really it's a soccer one, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Uh, anyways, I've worn it before. A couple of weeks ago, I was wearing it. And I was at the dry cleaner and I saw Vernon Norwood, who ran track at LSU. He runs for Team USA, just won a gold medal in Paris. Anyways, so I saw him and I've never seen him, never met him. I've never seen him out, in the wild, in the streets. And he's back in Baton Rouge. I think he's helping out with the track team or coaching or doing something. But I was like, Vernon, I was like, gave him a shout from across the parking lot. I was like, big ups. And like he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, like I really appreciate that." He's like, "Thanks for all the support." And then I looked down and realized I was wearing like a USA shirt that looked like I was probably some like big track fan
Yeah.
and that like I really was supporting him. But then this morning I was wearing it. We were about to get on the pod and I realized they're playing South Alabama, which is USA. So I was like, "Oh,
USA.
I should probably not wear that."
Yeah,
So I wore a
USA.
Dinosaur Jr. shirt and set instead. Repping, went and saw him at Manship Theater by myself on Wednesday or Thursday, Tuesday, one of those nights.
There you go.
Very good
Great
show
story.
for all the old heads out there, 40 and above, that are Dinosaur Jr. fans. I'm not there yet, age wise, but that's my band.
Spiritually, you're with them.
Great show.
All right, LSU versus South Alabama, Saturday, 6:45 p.m. in Tiger Stadium, the last game of the non-conference.
Nighttime.
A night game. Sun should be set pretty nicely, so
Feels
everybody.
amazing today in Baton
Yeah,
Rouge.
it feels the past like 5 days. It's been incredible. It's really after that weekend. It was like, all right, everything calmed down. So we're getting into fall. LSU comes in as something like 20 to 21 point favorites around there. We'll look at this thing on both sides. Then we'll get to our game balls and our predictions at the end. If you haven't already subscribed to the Bengal Tiger On3, you get our full write-ups of predictions. You get my games, my film study on them, the keys to the game, obviously all the recruiting stuff we do, football, basketball, and everything. So subscribe if you haven't already. But Shea, which side of the ball do you want to start on for this one?
The one that matters, probably.
Yeah.
A top 10 offense in the country right now, scoring offense. Granted, scoring 130 something points the past 2 weeks will help you get there. But Major Applewhite's crew is rocking like an 80 something to nothing basically win over Northwestern State with a running clock. But much more impressively, they put it on App State, and App State is not a bad football team by any means. So this is a team that can score in bunches. Like you said, your film study, if people have not gone to it, and then you throw up your keys to the game, which kind of just after you watch the film study, you very much see what the keys to the games are. But I knew about Fluff, the true freshman running back who's been running over people, largely because Charles Power, our national director of rankings and scouting, sent me a tweet this week, and or sent me a tweet, and then I was on the phone with him later, and he was like, "Check out this true freshman from USA." He's like, he's running over dudes, and he was like, he looks like one of the best young freshman running backs in the country. And I was like, yeah. I was like, they play this week, huh? He's like, no. I was like, LSU. He's like, oh no, sorry about that. So tell us, before we get to Geo, their quarterback, about Fluff, who has taken the nation by, well, at least my text messages, by storm. But
Yeah.
this will be his first game on the map, really. People get to watch him play a P4 now team, but
Yeah.
LSU.
Yeah, I mean, to this point, South Alabama lost to North Texas week 1. Beat.
Whoa, slow down. Don't skip right past your alma mater right there. North Texas handled them.
Well, they had no shot in that game. I mean, obviously, Eric Morris, one of the best OCs our play callers in the country. North Texas put them away 52 to like 38, something like that. They come back, and I don't remember the order. They lost
was
to Ohio,
Ohio.
then beat Northwestern. Lost to Ohio without Gio Lopez. We'll talk about. then beat Northwestern State, then beat Appalachian State, beat them 48-14. So, and the big, the big talking point of that App State game was Fluff Bothwell. Like, he was tremendous. I believe he had like over 120 yards. He's currently averaging 9.7 yards per carry, and that's not super inflated from the Northwestern State game. I think he only had like less than 10 carries in that game. So 37 carries on the year, 360 yards, 6 touchdowns. Like Charles said, he's a physical runner, runs through people, a lot of yards after contact, a lot of like counter runs for the South Alabama offense. But also, they do have a nice 1-2 because Kentrell Bullock has 30 carries for 200 yards. So he's at about 7 yards per carry as well with 3 touchdowns. So you do have a nice 1-2 there. And then Gio Lopez's legs account for another aspect you have to take into consideration here. So it's a lot of it starts with Fluff as well as Bullock, but they're a very confident offense, I would say, at this point coming into this game.
Only 6, or the stat I'm going to give you, he averages what you said. Where did Fluff go on my sheet here? 7th in the country at 9.7 yards per carry, almost a first down every time he touches it. And as you said, not super inflated. I'll also add that attempts per game wise, with people with basically 10 or more carries a game, there's only 7 in the top 20 in terms of average yards. So, like, you can push that up even further. He is in the top 5, I'd say, in running backs when he gets the ball, what his average is compared to, he didn't just like do that 3 times. He's carried it a good number of times.
Yeah, and so obviously he kind of commands a lot of attention. The run game commands a lot of attention. I like the way that they designed it. Like you said, the App State game was really the impressive part because even though I don't think App State is a great defense this year, it's still a proud program. You're playing them on the road, and for him to just run through guys the way
They
that
went to App State and did that.
went to App State, ran through guys consistently, and just kind of shrugged them off. I mean, one of the touchdowns, he gets tackled, like almost fully tackled at the 3, and then just like jumps forward into the end zone through their arms. It's like, okay, this is a guy who's looking to get more yards. And speaking of which, Gio Lopez, if we start with his legs, I thought a really interesting stat, which I included in my film study. He has 21 rushes for 183 yards through 3 games. He didn't play the Ohio game. But where's the stat? 74 of those yards are after contact. So more than a third of his yards are after contact. He's not sliding. Gio Lopez does not slide. I watched the I didn't watch the Northwestern State game, but I watched North Texas and App State. He was running and trying to get extra yards every chance he could. So you add Gio's leg to the mix, and now you have multiple guys that can carry the ball. So it's definitely going to be an interesting challenge for LSU here.
I'm trying to scroll here to make sure that I'm not off base. In the Kelly era, I'll save this for the other side of the ball, but it jumped out to me. But remind me, because someone had asked me this the other day and I had to think about it. In the Kelly era, they've scored 30 points. LSU scored 30 points at home in every single game minus that Tennessee game, which was over at like 8 minutes into the game. They were singing Rocky Top, and it was just bad.
It was over opening kickoff. Jack Bash fumbles the kickoff.
They fumbled. Yeah, they fumbled or turned it over off that kickoff, hit off his helmet or whatever that was. But they have scored 30 every time. But we'll save that for the offense. But you mentioned, okay, so Fluff and Gio.
Yeah,
their quarterback and their running back is just what to know here.
Yeah, they're the headliners. Last thing I'll say on Gio's legs, of the 183 yards, 119 of them have come by design. So they are also looking to set him up in the run or as a keeper, whenever he keeps it off the option.
Don't bring that up to LSU fans right now.
I know. So
they want to see Nuss keep it.
Yeah. So that's the run game aspect. Real quick on his arm, which I think is really impressive. The accuracy comes and goes, but he's
a southpaw.
He's left-handed, can sling it, extends plays really well. He's at 60. Where did my passing stats go? 62% completion, 843 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 picks through 3 games, 9.2 yards per attempt. So Again, he didn't play against the Ohio. I wish he would have, so we got maybe a better glimpse overall, like at what he is. But against North Texas, he was real good. Against Appalachian State, he was real good. So I have no reason to believe he's not going to come into this game looking to be explosive. And also, Major Applewhite has been, I think, really, really good as a play caller for this team, for this young offense.
Baton Rouge native, Major Applewhite, head coach over at USA. Can we play a new game right now?
Sure.
Sponsored by Gametime,
Sponsored.
which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
That needs to be our segment. Shea's game of the day with Gametime.
all right, you're a fair person. Is South Alabama a better offense than Southern Cal?
No.
Are they a better offense than South Carolina?
Not talent-wise, but identity-wise and, like, play calling-wise and confidence-wise. I'll say yes. I'll say yes.
Are they better than Nichols?
Yes.
Are they a better offense than UCLA?
Yeah, they're better than UCLA. South Carolina one I can take pushback on if you think, because Sellers obviously
Sure.
is really good, so I'm not
So
mad
in
at that.
theory, this will be let's just call it outside of SEC play. This is the second toughest matchup after South Carolina.
Yeah, in the
Or
non-conference.
Southern Cal.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's UCLA's thing was I think I talked about, like, I liked some of their personnel, but they just like looked like a mess in all their
Yeah, they
games, like
did.
Indiana and stuff. South Alabama, again, major credit to Major Applewhite, who's been the OC at South Alabama for 3 years and now is the head coach. So it's not like he's, learning on the fly or changing anything. This is and Gio Lopez redshirted last year, so he's, a year into the system. I just think they have a real clear identity of what they are right now.
It scares now. Look again. The spread opened at 19.5. Now it's 20.5. So basically a 3 touchdown. LSU's not expected to lose this game.
No.
That being said, it obviously brings the storyline is heightened. It's not like South Alabama has a top 10 defense.
No.
It's the offense that makes this heightened because LSU's defense is in this rebuild that has been susceptible to giving up points to teams like UCLA and Nichols and being tied at half and up by 2 right after half. Like, we can get into that in the preview and predictions. I just feel like when we go over this offense, you talked about their 2 heavy hitters, a great play caller. This is one that probably Matty B USA can keep close for a couple of quarters.
Again, like you said, I'm not worried about LSU losing this game. The concern is not coming up short and losing. Like, I don't think that's on the table here. The reason why I like this game being in this spot so much before a bye week and before Ole Miss is that you're going to see a good offense with an identity that you have to prepare for, that you have to execute against. Because if you don't, then you can allow like 24, 28 points to this offense, like if you're not ready. So that's why I really like this game for LSU in terms of you can't just sleepwalk it. Like, you cannot come in and roll by 45 points against South Alabama. So that's why I'm excited for this game in particular. The one receiver I will mention for South Alabama, who is by far their leader, Jamal Pritchett, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns on 26 catches. So he's their only, like, he's their big time receiver. So I'll note him, but the secondary is really what has to prove it to me. I wrote it in this preview and I wrote it in basically everywhere. I think LSU's defensive line, pass rushing wise, is going to be the difference here. I think they're going to be the reason they get a few stops. I think they get to Gio, maybe unsettle him a little bit, force a couple turnovers. Even though Gio doesn't have an interception this year, he has 5 turnover-worthy plays. So it's not like he's extremely safe with the ball. And like I said, he already is kind of a gunslinger. So I think LSU gets a couple of turnovers. The defensive line plays well.
And in this game, more than any other they'll have played, he will probably have to put himself in some spots where he's got to take some risks.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the North Texas game was obviously they lost, so they were playing from behind there. But
sure,
North Texas can't tackle really at all. And it's so that's going to be the hope again. Can the linebacker tackle? Can the defensive line bring him down? Because Gio keeps 2 of the plays in my film study. It's like Gio escaping sacks and like getting off guys and completing a pass for like 30 yards. It's like you can't let that happen if you're LSU.
Okay, we talked a bunch about USA, introducing him, obviously. So before we flip it, we need to talk about Harold Perkins. He's out. Yes. You're banking on them going back to the star.
Yeah.
So they had faced two teams in South Carolina. I guess it was twice, UCLA and South Carolina, or was it just UCLA, where they went to three linebackers? And anyhow, that's what put Harold Perkins, Whit
Yes.
Weeks, and
Yes.
Greg Penn on the field together.
Yes.
Harold Perkins is out for the year. Now you're back to that star package, which had Major Burns playing close to the line of scrimmage as a fifth DB and two linebackers. Those two linebackers will be Whit Weeks and Greg Penn. Whit Weeks has played so much football to this point that you don't feel there's a major fall off. You cannot afford any more injuries. And now West Weeks is healthy. So he'll be the guy that rotates in. If we do see a freshman, it sounds like it'll be um, Adkins is kind of
Americans. Yeah.
Xavier Adkins is who Brian Kelly's mentioned a couple times this week. Um, I liked his press conference yesterday when he said they've activated Xavier Adkins. It's not the NFL, so maybe they've like
From
he's just been like
redshirt to
unplugged and stored away, and then they plugged him in, and now he's active. He's out there flying to the ball. But I would expect to see just a bunch of Weeks and Penn, and then
yeah.
a little bit of West Weeks coming in.
Yeah. Like you said, I think the linebacker. I think Brian Kelly said this. Like as far as linebacker goes, like the two in Mike and Will, like I'm not too concerned on that aspect. I mean, obviously that didn't change, right? Witt and Greg were playing the Mike and the Will regardless before Penn got her injured because Perkins was playing the Sam. So now without Perkins, I expect them to go to a 4-2-5. Major Burns probably in that spot. He said Toviano. Or was no Kylan
Yeah,
Jackson?
Kylan
I'm
Jackson.
sorry, yes, Kylan Jackson backs him up at that spot, so maybe we see him. But yeah, I expect 4-2-5, and it's just going to be interesting to see. And again, this is why I like this game because now you get to see that defense without Perkins play a capable offense, and you have to kind of figure it out on the fly and whatnot.
Well, we mentioned this in the mailbag. Maybe a good test for him before Ole Miss in 2
Also,
weeks.
Zai Alexander's questionable. That's the only other injury
So the
report.
injury report really was Zai's questionable. He had a concussion that he left that game with, so he was in protocol this week, and he is your most experienced corner. So certainly you don't want to not have him. If he's not out there, I would guess it would be a lot of J.K. Johnson who gets to play, maybe some P.J. Woodland, the true freshman, but obviously Ashton Stamps would be the number one corner then. But we will see. Hopefully Zai is able to play. I'm with you though. I think the D line can get enough pressure to where they figure out what South Alabama's doing. And as you said, tackling, maybe that's the biggest thing here, getting fluff to the ground and making sure that the quarterback doesn't escape the pocket on passes, but maybe just as importantly, designed runs isn't fooling you and getting downfield and then you're missing tackles and he's chunking it for 30 or 40 yards. So
Yeah.
um, I'll save that for my preview prediction or that my
Okay.
predictions, my thought on the game.
Okay.
Flip it. I think this is a bit easier. We know what LSU's offense is. And as you wrote, the DBs for South Alabama aren't that great. That doesn't bode well for a team that spreads the ball around like LSU at a very efficient rate for Nussmeier. I pointed out in the mailbag, only two quarterbacks right now in the SEC are over 1,000 passing yards. He and Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart lights it up every week. They haven't really played anybody. It doesn't matter. They still have put up huge numbers.
Yeah.
He's Ole Miss's quarterback. But he averages like 14 yards a play. Like they're just chunking it downfield.
Yeah.
Nuss, the gunslinger, as we said before the year, he needs to be not turnover prone. He needs to take what the defense gives him. What the defense is giving him is a lot of short and intermediate stuff. And we've seen him make some NFL level throws. We've seen him try some deep ball stuff that's worked and hasn't worked at times, but very efficient. And he's averaging like 7 yards a completion, but is still at 1,200 yards. So I think it'll be, for me, I would just do that. Throw it all
Yeah.
over them until they have to take people out of the box and then run it.
Yeah, I was really, especially the North Texas game. North Texas under Eric Morris has had a really good offense last year. Has another one this year. They just shredded South Alabama, 52 points. 7 of those came on a blocked punt touchdown. But regardless, like North Texas just kind of walked over them, especially through the air. So I think there's a really good opportunity for LSU to do the same thing. Really, you don't have to get too creative. The only question mark I have is how South Alabama tries to defend them because Brian Kelly keeps talking about how teams are stacking the box basically against them. And South Alabama to this point, I don't think has done that too often. So Yeah, I think it sets up well for a big Nussmeier game in terms of attempts. And honestly, I think this is a great opportunity for you to give CJ Daniels and Kyron Lacey a couple of those jump balls and let them kind of make plays because South Alabama's corners have gotten mossed a few times this year. So, and, LSU DBs were kind of in a similar boat in that respect. But I think South Alabama's corners are definitely susceptible to the big play.
Maybe we'll see a little Caden Durham this week. He and Caleb Jackson had kind of an equal time share a week ago. Josh Williams played, but if they're able to run the ball this game, I'd like to see them get over that 100-yard mark like they did against UCLA, which brought just a little bit of balance, right? Not pure,
Yeah.
not 50-50, but something. And this is a game I think that you'd like to see it happen before you go on by. You do a lot of self-scouting, and then you get ready for Ole Miss in 2 weeks. I will throw this in. You mentioned a punt block. It gave it. I felt something in my gut. I Googled South Alabama's punting a little more than 3 times a game. I would bet in this game they're punting it 4 times,
Mhm.
maybe. Is this the Xavier Thomas return for a touchdown
We keep
game?
waiting for it.
I'm
I
not.
mean, he's been
I'm
awesome.
just going to keep saying it until it happens.
Well, the thing is he's been awesome as a return man. I mean, Brian
Yeah,
Kelly mentioned it, that UCLA game, the over the shoulder catch, the freaking Willie Mays catch over the shoulder and to turn around and get 20 yards off that. So instead of it getting down at the 5 or 10, it's at the 40. Like that is a game-changing play. So he's already
I,
made a
I'm
monster
still
impact.
beefing with Brian Kelly for when I asked him in the offseason about Xavier and the addition
Ah,
of the punt return game, and he said, it doesn't with the new rules and all. It doesn't really matter. Nobody returns punts anymore. And week 1, they faced the best return specialist in the country in Branch, and then they get Thomas, and it was like the 2 big storylines. And
yeah.
you know,
It's Brand Thomas to this point in the year. I haven't seen every single team play. I feel like we've seen a lot of teams play. We watch a lot of college football. Like he is one of the best return men in the country,
I
flat
can tell
out.
you right now who it is.
Yeah, I don't know what the stats say or anything like that, but he is flat out
Um,
one of the best return men in the country. So it has made a huge difference, I think.
what do we
Uh,
want to go by? Yards? Let's go by
yards per
yards.
return, yards, yeah,
You
one
want
of
to
the
go
two.
yards per
Either
return?
one. Either one. Whatever has Xavier in the best light, I think.
Oh, that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's
That's what we're
find
looking
him.
for.
Oh,
Um,
no, they have it messed up on, they don't have his stats right. They flipped it says 6 for 36. That's actually his kickoffs. They have it wrong
um,
on all the stat things you can log.
okay,
But he'd be up there. I think he has 180 something. Let me look.
something like
The
that.
leader in the country has 196 return yards right now.
Yeah. So again, he's just been incredible. So he's done exactly what we wanted going into the year, talking about how this LSU offense was not last year's offense in terms of just rolling out the ball and scoring 50. You have to have those margins that Xavier Thomas provides. The one thing I will also say, or do you have the stats before I jump to a separate? I don't want to jump to a separate point when we have Xavier. When we're talking Xavier,
Um,
because he is very very good.
yeah, they don't. They've got it messed up even on
Yeah,
LSU side. It says he only has 6 returns for 36 yards, and that's not correct.
yeah, I don't think that's correct. I'm trying to think. I feel like I could name 6 punt returns that he's had this year.
Yeah,
Regardless,
this is way off. But I think he's in the. He's probably second. I think he's above 170.
mhm, some yeah.
Oh, you know who's number one? Jamal Pritchett, South Alabama's return man.
Well, there you go. There you go. Jamal Pritchett's really good athlete. Really, he has a. They throw it to him in the flat sometimes. He can make someone miss. So another weapon for South Alabama's offense. The one thing I was going to say, kind of my last point on this side of the ball for LSU is it's definitely a game where you don't want to have to. We've talked about a lot about red zone scoring before. With those struggles, or I guess limitations in a way, I think this is a game where LSU may have to hit on a couple more explosive plays than they have, because as much as I love the 12 play, 80-yard drives that take 6 minutes off the clock that they've been really good at against UCLA and whatnot, this does feel like a game where I think they should be able to hit a couple more explosive plays than what they have so far. And they're going to have to in SEC play, because those drives are hard. Those 10+ play drives where you're going for 5 minutes, you have to be almost perfect. And Nussmeier has. He's been really, really good, but then you see them get in the red zone, and then again the margins shrink and it's even tougher. So I would like to see some more explosive plays from LSU's offense. Like I said, the South Alabama secondary is not great. I think LSU should be able to run the ball as well. I say that knocking on wood because I've said that last like 2 weeks. But I do think from an explosive play standpoint, LSU should be able to open up the field against South Alabama and not have to rely on, 6 red zone trips and have to score touchdowns on 4 of them. Like it's just hard to be perfect in those situations. So I hope they can hit a couple big plays.
Yeah, these are two of the best return guys out there in terms of productivity. So, all right, you want to do an ad read? You want to do some game time?
Yep.
As everyone knows, Game Time is who we rock with every week leading into football games or any event. We just usually do it the day before the game. But whether it's, do you have the? I'm not looking at the screen right now. You got it pulled up. I
Here
bet
I
you can get
do.
some cheap tickets
Don't
to the
worry.
game this weekend.
Shea's seat of the game. That's what we.
I'll find it. Don't worry.
New
You show it
segment.
to me. I'll find. Oh, brilliant! Just zoom right in there to the bottom.
Which one? This over here?
All right. Well, download the Game Time app. Put in the code ON3, ON3, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Anywhere in the App Store, just it's there. Game Time, one word. Download it. When you check out ON3, $20 off your first purchase. Zoom in there.
They even give you these little stars.
Yeah. Oh, that's a hot deal.
$73, $38 down here.
Okay. Here we go. You can sit basically in like row
34.
8 of the lower bowl in the corner of the end zone for $38. By the time you check out, you'll get $20 off.
That's a good one.
They might pay you to go to the game.
Yeah, I was saying you're free.
Is what I'm saying here.
I mean, if you want 67.
And that's one of the other best things. Seats before you buy. You just got to look at that seat view right there on that $38 ticket. Lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, all of that. Game Time brings. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code ON3, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, Game Time, create the account, just put ON3 in when you get to the promo section. It'll take the $20 off there. As I said, no hidden fees. You're not going to get to check out and have 45 different things tacked on. We're like, well, this is like 8 times what the ticket was. Game Time. It is the best ticketing app out there for a reason, and it's not just football or college. You can go see NFL, you can go see plays, you can go see shows. Even I went to the Dinosaur Junior show this week, browsed Game Time beforehand, made sure I had a good deal. I would not be going to, I mean, yeah, you can sit in the upper deck for $5 for free if you want, but
Yeah.
Have yourself an experience. Use Game Time, get out there. Get you a low seat. There you go. Even on the west side,
$60.
The sun will be down, but you can be there for $60 in the lower bowl. $20 off. You're cruising.
$38 over here. I like this. This is good.
If someone buys that $38 one in 407, comment in the YouTube section or post it to the Bengal Tiger or tweet us. That's what we need. Row 9, 407. Boom, right there.
Like there you go. Also, get your Ole Miss tickets early.
Get your Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter. There are all kind of stuff up there that you can get.
Yes, here, look, I can go back. There we are.
Boom. There's the Ole Miss tickets.
There's Ole Miss right here.
2 weeks away, guys. That one is the 100 years of Tiger Stadium celebration as well. So that will be one of the biggest games of the year. In fact, I checked out the other day, Commanders at Saints when Jaden Daniels comes to town, November, December. There's some good deals in the lower bowl that I've got to watch on Game Time. So let's move on. What are we doing here?
Game balls.
MVPs, game balls.
Yes, MVP.
Okay, I'll go first. You want to start? I'll start on defense. You ready? Because it's my story of the day.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I've already told the story before.
Braden Swinson for 3rd straight SEC Player of the Week.
Hey, every time I predict him, my man turns in SEC all defensive performance, defensive lineman of the week, defensive player of the week, you name it. I'll have to stray from it today. I have to follow the storyline here and recent developments. Told the story before, but when Major Burns' mom was pregnant with Major, her and his father's passed, Tony, were at a Texas A&M game in Austin, and Baton Rouge native Major Applewhite, Catholic High's finest, was the quarterback at the time for Texas, and they were in the student section. And she said that every time, like the whole game, everyone's chanting Major, Major. And on their drive home, she told her husband that wasn't that a cool name? And he's like, I thought so too. So comes the name Major Burns. Now, Major Burns is about to start versus Major Applewhite, head coach OC. Game or guy's going to call the game for him. Two Baton Rouge natives. Square off here. I'll go Major Burns. Player of the week on defense against his namesake with Harold Perkins gone, going back to the star a good bit. Burns is going to be blitzing a lot this game. I would imagine I'm going to go with a turnover of some variety. He picks up a fumble, he forces a fumble, he gets a sack or something noteworthy for Major Burns. So I'll circle my man Major, Baton Rouge native, Major versus Major, that he gets one.
I like it. Give me Whit Weeks.
There you go.
I think Whit Weeks has his best game of the season. You know, there were times against South Carolina and even maybe UCLA where I thought he struggled against the run. This is going to be a game where they need his speed and his ability to stay on top of Gio Lopez with his legs. So I think Whit Weeks has a strong outing both in coverage and against the run. So Whit Weeks, all eyes are on you now to replace basically Harold Perkins, even though I know it's not a direct situation like that. But Whit Weeks, it would be nice for him to have a strong showing here and kind of ease any question marks about what this defense can do at the linebacker spot. So give me Whit as my defense pick.
I like it. He's played very well. Now he's going to, people have said they want more Whit Weeks. Well, here you go. He's about to play the whole game, basically.
Yes.
So I like that choice. Okay, offense. In a game, we expect them to throw the ball a good bit, as per usual. What are you rocking with?
Give me. We don't know Hilton. Like he said, Hilton was probable, but he at the same time he was like, "Yeah, we got to see at the game." So I was gonna say, I mean, give me a Kyron Lacy game. Just give me a Kyron Lacy. I feel like I haven't picked Kyron Lacy.
He had 3 touchdowns against Nichols, so this could be a game that nobody on USA is guarding Kyron Lacy.
No,
So
so that's why I think Nussmeier will give him a good amount of chances. Like even if South Alabama, which I don't think they will, but if they dedicate a lot of attention to him, I still think this could be a good, strong Lacy game. So I'm pretty sure I haven't chose Lacy. Yeah, I think I have had Nussmeier once, Campbell once, Daniels once. I don't remember the other one, but yeah, basically, give me Kyron Lacy.
okay, I'm going to go with someone more so because I think that this is where I want to see them break through before SEC play begins. I'm going to go receiver, but I'm going to go CJ Daniels, the Liberty transfer. He's put together, he was a no-show in game 1, basically, by and large, but 3 solid games since then. But it's just like he doesn't have that same. I mean, he got tripped up a few times in that game against UCLA where it was like, man, keep your footing and you're scoring on that play or whatever it was. And you could tell he was frustrated.
Yeah.
I want to see that athleticism break through to the point where he stays on his feet, he makes some plays, makes some guys miss. You don't accidentally back into putting up 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, even in a Jamie Chadwell offense at Liberty. So he's capable of it. I like this one. I wonder, did Liberty play USA last year?
That's a good question. They're not in the same conference, so if they did, it would have been non-conference game. I don't remember seeing that when I went through South Alabama's schedule. Also, another note: South Alabama beat Oklahoma State 33-7 last year in Stillwater, just to instill a little bit more fear into LSU fans going into this
Yeah,
game.
thanks for that. No, they didn't. I was just curious if he's faced this team before. Okay, I'll go with CJ Daniels, Liberty transfer. I wanted to pick Aaron Anderson, but I'll go Daniels.
There should be some good receiving stats in this game. I'll say that much. So, all right, predictions.
Okay, I sent you, man. Did you post a story already? Yes,
I
you did.
did.
Okay,
Posted the story already.
I can give you my exact score then. Y'all know me. I cheat. I just kind of look at the Vegas spread and then adjust it from there with the spread and over under. So I'm going 42-24 LSU. I think this is a game where if South Alabama is able to move the sticks a few times in the first half, it can play out a lot like a UCLA or a Nichols,
Yeah.
where it's like, well, we don't have,
Yep.
LSU's like, we're not getting many offensive possessions here. We're scoring on them, but we're not getting the ball a ton. So if there's no turnovers forced or punts, multiple punts forced, you're not getting extra possessions. That lets USA hang around. So I could see this being tight at half, but then LSU pulling away. So I guess call it similar to Nichols in UCLA is how I maybe see it playing out. Not, and again, I think South Alabama is better than both those teams, so I wouldn't consider that like as fearful of a thing.
Yeah.
But that's my pick. I think 45-24.
You said
I went to
42.
I went to
You
LSU.
said
Oh,
42-24
I went
in our
42-24. I said I
score.
went to LSU, so I'm bad at math. That's 34,
18.
44, 18. So that would not be covering.
Yeah.
But if you want to tack on a field goal, then they'll cover.
There you go. I wrote before you sent yours in, I had already written out 41-24 LSU. I do think maybe settle for a few field goals early. South Alabama sticks around. I don't think
The math
LSU.
ain't math, and that's 2 field goals.
Yes. Well, I said they get a couple LSU will kick a couple field goals early. I think South Alabama stays in it in the first half, and then LSU, like you said, it kind of plays out like the UCLA game to a degree. I'm not. I was wrong against South Carolina. I was wrong against UCLA. I'm not going to predict this defense to hold South Alabama to less than 20 points this time. So, 41-24. I don't have LSU covering the spread. It would be a pretty. They're going to have to play really well to cover the spread because I don't think South Alabama is bad. So, if they cover the spread, then I will be feeling very, very, very good about this team going into the Ole Miss game.
Well, Billy went 45-31. So he said he's loving what Major Applewhite's done with this USA team in recent years, and now taking over, as you said, as head coach. That he
Yeah.
thinks they can 30 spot this LSU team.
If they score 30, then
Well, I mean, I'm saying they're scoring 24, so it's not that
yeah, we
far
both
off.
said 24. It's not too far off, but 30 is 30 is going to make everybody uncomfortable. 30 is going to make it. 30 will be an uncomfortable game if they hit that.
30's, I think 30's a lot of 45 and 30 is a lot of points. I don't think there'll be that enough possessions for
So
that.
so that again, that's why people ask me on the board is like, "Oh, so you're thinking the over or something like that?" I was like, LSU to this point, like I said, has played like really low possession games. I wrote in the story after UCLA, they only had 8 real possessions. They had they had the kneel out to close out the first half, and they ran out the clock at the end of the game. So really, if you want to say 9 possessions, cool. But they were 8 possessions where they were trying to score. That's a very, very, very low number.
When 2 of them, they went double-digit plays and 90-something
Yeah.
yards. So
So
that takes 7 minutes or 5
they've
minutes, 6
been
minutes to
very
do.
deliberate, and that's why I said in the South Alabama game, I want them to see them be more explosive and not have to rely on converting, a bunch of third downs or red zone
4th
trips.
and
Like
2.
you should have some big playability in this game. So that's where I do think it does have a chance to maybe get higher scoring, but at the moment LSU's just they've played lower possession games to this point. Not scoring, possession. They've played lower possession games. USC was another example of a pretty low possession game. So we'll see how it goes. But those are our predictions. You can check out our full, background and info on the Bengal Tiger On3. All our stories are up. I'll have my final lines up this afternoon as well. So check out that. And there you go. There's our preview podcast.
And I did say I'd come back to it, but yes, in the Kelly era, LSU's only not scored 30 once at home. That was the Tennessee game. So
They should score.
LSU's going above 30.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know what the team total here is, but I'd be on it.
If I had to guess, it's probably like 38 and a half or something. I haven't looked at that. Let me see if I can find it real quick. 20 and a half spread, 65 total. Team total
20
is
and a half, not 28 and a half, right?
yes. For LSU or South Alabama.
Yeah, the spread is 20 and a half.
Yes, sorry. The LSU team total was 43 and a half.
Maybe too rich for my blood. All right, what's South Alabama's?
That's a lot. 21 and a half.
All right. I like the over there.
Yeah. So it's good lines. Good lines. But yeah,
Hey, get past this one, get a win, get out injury free, and you're into the bye week. And it should be noted, while Ole Miss has played nobody to this point by the standards of
LSU.
solid teams,
Yeah.
they do play Kentucky this weekend. They play South Carolina next weekend,
On
and
the
then
road.
at LSU, which LSU's getting a bye. So this is that at least sets up well. If you can get out of here injury free, you're going into a rest week, 2 weeks off. While Ole Miss is out there starting SEC play against two teams that defensively at least have put up very nice battles against some good teams.
Yeah. Like the 2 weeks going up before that game, it's going to be LSU plays home game against South Alabama and a bye week, while they play Kentucky at home and South Carolina on the road. So and the game's at
And then they
LSU.
have to go to Baton Rouge.
Yes. So a lot of what I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I picked LSU to win the Ole Miss game. A lot of that before the season was about how the schedule set up for LSU. It's very favorable in that aspect. So if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it. So, all right, that's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed the podcast. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe to our YouTube. We are almost at 7K, I want to say.
Come on
So
now, let's go, guys.
yeah, get us up there. We appreciate all the support. Subscribe to the Bengal Tiger On3 if you have not already. That's where we hang out. Post on the board every day, 24/7. It'll be 1 a.m. and one of us will be awake most likely. So we're
Yeah,
always
yeah,
on
most
there.
likely it's Matthew.
Yeah, probably.
Let me see, and I know we've got, some good deals rolling, one deal at least rolling on, annual subs right now, so if you want to check us out, hop over and, check out that deal. I can actually tell you what it is right now. It's, yeah, less than $9 a month for an annual sub, so one day a month, don't go get that cup of coffee that you really don't need to spend $9 on, and then you can just come hang out with us every day and talk Tiger sports. And actually, you just posted some good stuff this morning on the basketball team and kind of how things are going recruiting wise there ahead of the season. So
Yeah.
plenty to catch up on for LSU fans. We're
Yeah.
about to be in the best part of the year when multiple fun sports are rolling.
Yes, yes. So check us out over there. We appreciate all the subscribers. We'll be back with a post game podcast, probably late Saturday night.
Oh
Oh,
God,
in the
yeah,
press
that
box.
will be late.
Well, yeah. Well, if we do it in the press box, we knock it out pretty quick. So that's been. I'm glad we figured that one out.
Let's see.
But yeah,
6:45 is kick.
yeah. So we'll be done like
SEC Network actually kick off here again. We have to spit the truth. 6:55 is when they will
oh
actually kick off. But 6:55 SEC Network Saturday night.
yeah.
You can listen on the LSU Sports Radio Network. But we will be in Tiger Stadium, but in the live thread on the message board on the Bengal Tiger, which is not for the faint of heart. That
It
is
is
where the
fun.
diehards reside, but we have fun with it.
It is fun. We have a great time in there throughout the game. So yeah, check us out. We appreciate y'all for joining us, and we will talk to y'all later.